And here we are off for the start of Game 2 of the East Coast Ice Battle. It's another 2017 matchup. It's the ECI Selects. They're taking on the Riptide. Both teams getting their tournament started off here on a Friday morning. We are pleased to have you joined with us as the Riptide will take possession. There's a shot on net that goes off the pad of the goaltender into the corner. It's Mikhailov trying to move that out in front. It ends up going to the blue line. O'Keefe waits, tries a shot, fans on it, but will backhand it back down. Back to Mikhailov. Pass across, didn't connect. Going back to the blue line. Stewart walking in, tries a shot that goes off his stick. Loose puck, again taken away. Trying to put that to the net was Drew O'Keefe. Now want to be clear along the board. It's Wigmore, freshly off the bench, trying to corral the Selects, go back the other way. At center, they clear it in. Move to the ECI blue line. Potential too many men as both teams got caught up right near the East Coast Ice Selects bench. Already less than a minute to go. In net for the East Coast Ice is at number 30, Brielle Cormier. And taking the pipes for the Riptide as we get a whistle is number 1, Lori Martel. This is the second game of the tournament here on the Uni surface. The first one happening at 8 o'clock this morning, where the NBAs took a 5-1 win over the Extreme Hockey. But here the Riptide, a shot from the blue line, attempt from Swan. That one never got through. Here another try, working to the middle is McQuillan. That one's taken away, and the Selects steam back the other way. Up with speed, it's McPhee. McPhee working along the right, dangling in with some stick handling, trying to put that in front, and just couldn't hit his target. Turnaround shot here from Cormier, and that one blocked off his skate and returned back the opposite way. Riptide going back with speed, going in wide right. There's a shot that just misses the net of Brielle Cormier. Stepping back in for the Riptide here is Ivan Morrison, trying to go around. That one taken away and to be taken by Dornbach. Bronson Dornbach working back in his own end. Having a standstill in the corner before moving out. Trying to go cross ice here and see Russell McPhee. And that one just poked off his twig. That one shot in by Van Weeken. Taken back by the Selects. It's Dunbrack going the other way. He'll bank that off the boards. Pass Van Weeken. Shot back into his own end by Stavert. They move around the corner. Going behind the net with speed was Owen Hickey of the Selects. And now it comes up to the ringette line. And the Riptide bring it out with speed. It hits off the leg of a linesman. I believe that's Dayrosh, who is trying to get a potential breakaway or odd man rush. Now go here. Coming back is Hickey. There's a shot. Deflected and saved away by Martel between the pipes. Shot out towards the blue line. Freshly off the bench, Nordine. Skating back for it, that'll be an icing. Our first whistle coming just at 8.5. And we'll go again to our first big scoring chance of the game. A shot out in front of the net. A little backhander that was taken away by Martel up in the net. Faceoff's going to go to the right of Martel. One off a skate. Loose puck's going to head over to O'Keefe in the corner. Works its way out towards the blue line. This one almost chopped out by Stewart. Sent back in by the ECI Selects. Going behind that into Martel. O'Keefe out in the corner, trying to put that one along the boards over for Wigmore. Unable to hold the zone is Nordine. So forced to back skate out. They go back in with speed. Here's Hickey stepping it along the right. Here's a shot that just misses the net. They'll go rimming around the board. There's Bork trying to cut it off. This one held in at the line by King. Shot out freshly off the bench to pick it up is Bradley. trying to spring his man, getting into the zone. It's loose and taken away by the Riptide. Moving wide and cutting towards the boards is Wigmore, trying to protect the puck, and I tried to send that one over to Weeks. And now heads back for the Selects defenseman. Pass it in front. Here's a shot, a great save made. Quick face-off. Swan trying to get it in. It's blocked, and it may be a 2-on-1 go back the other way. Up with speed, leading the rush is McPhee into his backhand. Turned away by Martell in the net. And there's our first breakaway odd man rush of the game. Some beautiful back checking. And a little backhander goes on net. Did not get as much power on the shot as McPhee had wanted. But here we go, face off on the left. One at the blue line. Dobrnik trying to get a shot off, and that one's just going to go up over into the corner. Swan deciphering his plans in the corner. Goes up above the wall. This one barely kept in at the line by Bronson Dornbach. To be cleared outside the blue line, going all the way back to the Selects end. Regrouping it, Seri. Going cross ice, lifting a little pass up for McPhee. McPhee breaking in, try to backhand pass, try to get that one over for Liam Seri. Cleared back and shot in by King, who was freshly off the bench. King with another try. He's going to get it back to the blue line, this time losing in between his feet. Still a 0-0 game, getting to about halfway through period one. Here come the Riptide. There's a shot, a save made. Another try on the rebound, and they score. Brielle Cormier takes the first one, and the rebound is sitting on the doorstep. And it's number 8, Ivan Morrison, getting the Riptide on the board with a little backhand try right out in front. Make your score 1-0 Riptide here at 6:18 of the first period. It looked like Morrison had been first in the flyby, but the goal is going to be from It's going to be Thomas Desrush from Morrison at 6:18. Still getting assists. He had the initial shot on that one. Now we're going to have our first penalty of the game, and it is going to go against the Riptide. So it's the Selects to the man advantage. It's Adler Van Weeken. He's going to have a sit for 2 minutes. And the Selects will get there first, trying to get on the board. That's going to be a 2 for a trip. Walking in, a shot from the blue line that went right through traffic. I don't believe Martell ever saw an eye on that. There's a shot attempt from Nordin that was blocked down by a stick. It looked like that was Desrush, the goal scorer, showing off some hand-to-eye coordination. Nordin around the cage. Had tried to play it towards the blue line. This one just getting past Weeks. Selects move outside the zone. A shot through center. This one just misses O'Keefe. And will go down for icing at just under 5.5. There's a quick shot behind the net. Currently a 1-0 game in favor of the Riptide. If you're just tuning in, that goal was from Thomas Desrush from an assist of Ivan Morrison. Selects are right now in the power play. There was a pass that went right through the center. Pass to the middle, shot from McPhee, and that one was blocked. It was tied up by the stick of Marcus Bell. McPhee had tried to put that right back out in the slot. Looked like his target there was Cormier. Select still with it. Cormier was sent down, gets back up and continues to battle. Trying to hold the line was Offrey. Successfully does. It's a right about hovering at the ring-out line. Trying to move it down low is Sari. Still loose. Offrey going to hold the line again, and using his power is McQuillan to get it outside the zone and get his team some much-needed line changes. Holding it in at the line, here's Cormier. Throwing it behind the net, rimmed around by Bell. Riptide now bring it out with some very efficient penalty killing, not allowing a shot on net as we get to the last 10 seconds. Cleared in by McPhee, going back for it is Swan. He'll go up against the boards. This one's just going to get by Alec Cormier, and down the ice it'll go. Penalties now expired, so 5-on-5 for now. Knox trying to clear it out of his own end. Had possession there for a second, but it's Wigmore that sends it back to the Selects defenseman Nordine. Nordine skating back in his own end. Has some time and a bit of space, so he's going to use it. Passes up as the Selects enter the end. There's a shot, that one blocked. Had been right in front, looked like that was Stavert. Blocking it with his body. There's a pass in front that I tried to get over for Eric Maya. Select still with it, trying to throw that one out in front. It goes all the way across and back into the boards. Sent up to the blue line, unable to be held in. It's Nordine. Passing it back. Nice little windmill deke there. Clear out to center. Nordine try to tap on it. Pinching again and barely able to upend the Riptide from going back. But here they are now in the second effort. It's Wigmore cutting in, trying a shot, and this one's wide left of the net. Holding it in is Morrison. Has 1 point so far in this one. Looking to make it 2 here on this rush. Owen Hickey waits, passes up. That one's intercepted. Riptide come back. It's Nordine. Coming at it with speed, blocking it in his feet as the Selects go back the other way. And now they may be caught on a change. Here, all 4 players getting off. Morrison steps in just offside. As we get to 2.5. Still a 1-0 lead in favor of the Riptide on the East Coast Ice Selects. As we get now down to less than 2 minutes, Arn on the initial frame. Riptide stepping in, unable. There's a shot, backdoor attempt. Looked like that was Morrison trying to pounce on it, but was tied up before he could get a shot off. Now up with speed, Eric Maya stepping in, unable to get a shot off. He was given a little bump by Eddie Stewart. Maya around the net. McPhee pass out in front, the shot. What a save on the red line. And a bit of extracurricular activities out in front, but waiting right in front of the net. Believe that's Remus Bradley. Is rating right out in front. A perfect pass to the high slot where Bradley had been waiting, and it's a save that is on the goal line. Face-off going to the right of Martel. Once successfully by the Riptide. Shot along the boards. This one barely held in by Offrey. Offrey this attempt unable to hold it, so the Slugs go back into their own end. That'll be an icing. So exactly 2 to go. Riptide up 1-0, but lately it's been all ECI Selects that have just been hounding the zone of the Riptide in these past couple minutes. Riptide off the draw. Wigmore back in his own end. Puts it up against the boards over for Mikhailov. Brought back in. Nordine waiting, trying to get a shot off. Got caught in between a couple feet, and he's just able to hold the line. Rushing in with speed is Weeks. Hits the brakes, goes to Swan at the blue line. Sends it across right to the middle. Moving with it. Mikhailov trying a shot, and that one's blocked out in front by the stick of Nordine. That had gone by him. A potential deflection waiting. Mikhailov pass right out in front. That one had just gone under the stick of DeRoche. Here's another shot from the high slot. That'll be gloved down by goaltender Cormier. There's a face-off again, won by the Riptide. They go to the blue line. Cleared back in by Stewart. Moving with it is Wigmore. He's poked loose. It's off for Liam Sari. Sari in the left corner. Waits, tries a couple dangles. Still is unable to get rid of Marcus Bell. Now pass it in front. A shot attempt from Weeks. Another try. It's taken away. Moving up is the speedy Russell McPhee. Working in, trying in between the legs move, and that is blocked by the defenseman, Van Weeken. Cleared out this one, just gets past Weeks. Two Selects players collide as it goes down the ice. Moving up at speed, Lewis Stavert. Going around his cage and looking up, pass it. That went in between the feet of Wigmore. Still trying to gather possession. Now he's pinned up against the boards with Sari. It's Bell and Sari up against the boards. It's just cleared outside the zone. Now move back after a clear Offrey. Sent to the middle. Selects move back within in their own end. Pass out in front there. That was from Offrey, I do believe. It was just sent back door. This one held in at the line. It was Dornbach who tried to send it down, and that will end our first period of play, gone by incredibly quickly. Your score after one. ECI Select still with no score. The Riptide are up 1-0, and that goal came from Thomas Desroches from Morrison at 6:18 of our first period. Stay tuned for period 2 here on MST. And a quick start to the second period. The Selects bring it back in with speed. Hickey waits to try to go around the net, and he was pickpocketed by Van Weeken. Moving up and trying to pass it at his blue line. Shot back in by Nash Nordine. A Stewart, a little pass up for Morrison, who bulldozes his way inside the zone. King Fane going around the net, doesn't deke out McQuillan. Now back to the blue line, a shot here from Stewart. Save, rebound on the backhand, another save made by Cormier. And two more great saves by Brielle Cormier. There's an initial shot from the blue line that goes off the pad. And a rebound try. And it's pounced on here in the early stages of period 2. A shot right over in front. They score! It looks like it's Ben Mikhailov. Or first in the handshake line is Hudson Jeffrey with the snipe for the Riptide, and they go up 2-0 right off the draw. It's a clearing attempt that gets blocked somewhere out in front. Puck squeaks loose, and a shot right over the shoulder of Cormier, and that's going to be 2-0 now in favor of the Riptide. And it's Jeffrey from Desroches at 11:14. Thomas Desroches getting his second point of the game here in this one, as it's now 2-0 in favor of the Riptide. Riptide had worked their way into the zone. That one's taken by Bradley as he finds his way into the corner. Up with pressure is Morrison of the Riptide. Down but not out. The Selects come back up with speed, trying to split two defensemen. I believe there was Hickey. Taken back, banked off the boards. Bork tried to put it in the zone. It went through the feet of a Riptide player, Mikhailov. Back up at speed, moves across the blue line, winds up for a shot, and that one just misses wide. Banks behind the net, rebound, sent out in front, and the high slot off the bench. Wigmore with a try, and it's blocked out in front by a Selects player. There's Wigmore, what a pass to the back door, and Jeffrey couldn't quite get a stick on another try. That's a save made by Cormier as it trimmed along the boards. Kept it at the line, a shot, oh, right back door. Wigmore had almost gotten a stick on it, just hopped over the stick. I believe that was Offrey. Selects going back the other way. McPhee in the corner, trying to look out in front. Hickey moving his way behind the cage. Still with it, Hickey to McPhee. Can't get a stick on it to between his feet. And again, another try and swinging in to pickpocket McPhee as Wigmore as he now brings it out to the middle. Nordine sent to the middle. Stewart tried to send it up. Still no penalties called so far in this game. There's a shot to the side of the net, a pass to the front, another shot to the side of the net, in the slot, another try blocked by Nordine. Wigmore with a drive, and another save made by Cormier. Wigmore back to the blue line. Stewart waits, moves to the middle of the shot. That one just misses wide of the net. Going behind is Weeks. Dangles to his backhand, passes it back up to the point. Stewart unable to take it. Now it's a 2-on-1 in favor of the Selects before Adler Van Weeken disrupts that, and the Riptide go back the other way. Wigmore stepping in, taken down. Selects go back the other way. Sari trying to go up the boards with it, blocked and held in, or just not. A very close one to call. And now we got less than 9 now to go in to period number 2. Been a very tight game. Two teams with numerous great chances. The Riptide have capitalized on 2 of them, however. Cleared up against the board. Selects, keep it into the zone. Another clear attempt, still kept into the zone. Backhander attempt by O'Keefe. This one will exit the blue line, and that'll be forced shot back in by Dornbach. Dornbach again. Cleared back to the Riptide defense. Stewart trying to pass it up. Selects a pass in between the feet of Morrison. Bringing it back in. Little spinorama, waits, stops, and just unable to get a shot off there was Dunbrack. Nice moves, just unable to get a shot and finish. Moving back in, trying to hit the brakes there. One looked to have been Fournier. To the middle, Hickey. Throwing it back to his defense, Offrey. Offrey waits, goes along the boards for Hickey. Had tried to move that one by Bromley. It's Morrison. Back to Swan with a little D-to-D pass that just doesn't go as planned. Swan trying to backhand it out. This one's blocked. Bringing back in with speed. Going around the net, pass out in front. That one had tried to hit Bradley. Again, waiting in that slot where he almost got the Selects on the board earlier this game. Nordine trying to clear, kept him by the Riptide. Here's a shot coming from Weeks. That one never got on net. Moving it around, Jeffrey. Going behind the net, Morrison waits, pass out in front. That one's in the slot before it's taken away and moved down to the opposite end of the ice by Maya. Maya stepping in. He had accidentally fallen over a man, and that's going to be offside. There's a quick shot on net. It's rimmed around the boards. This one should be held in by Stewart. Now walking in, Morrison, he's gonna have a try. That one's tipped and deflected wide by Nordine. Saving a shot on goal and potentially maybe even a goal. Shot back out, this one's down the ice, sent by Bork, and that'll be icing. Going up against the Select, so they'll have to go back down into their own end. So our only other game live in progress. The ECI Selects of 2016 taking on the Nova Scotia Prospects. They are still tied at 0. I believe that game is just getting underway here at 11. And here in this game, the Selects bring it outside the zone. It's McPhee from his own end, traverses his blue line. Gets along the red line, back into the offensive zone. McPhee trying to extend his sting, corral the puck. Tried to throw a backhander out in the center. This one's shot down by the Riptide. Could be a potential break. Speeding up. Here's Knox. Potential breakaway. Backhander turned away by Cormier. And what looked to have been an unsuspecting clear that it went off the boards turns in to a breakaway for Knox, with the defense right on his tail. And it's Cormier that comes up with the save, and our game still remains 2-0. Putting it on net was Bromley. Still with the Riptide, dominating possession, little backhander, that one just missed the net, rebounds right loose in the slot. And that'll end play, a little bit of pushing. It was Dunbrack and McQuillan. Here a quick shot. That one's redirected just wide. That was Bromley who tried to put one on net. Dunbrack of these Selects works a little pass up. As Fournier now brings it outside the zone. Shot in this one just by Morrison. Skating back with it. It's moved up by Stewart. And a cross-ice pass sent to the middle. Deflected off the stick of Bromley to be picked up by McQuillan. Skating up, being hounded by Nordine as they both get angled out into the corner. They both go falling down. Following up on it is Bromley. Had tried to move it to the blue line. Now taken out by the Selects. Hitting the brakes is Dunbrack. Waits, looking for his options, and was stripped of the puck by McQuillan, who runs over a man, then is taken down. Pass up Dunbrack. Moved into the zone, chasing back for it is O'Keefe. O'Keefe with tons of time and space as both teams changing up all 5 men. O'Keefe a pass, that one's picked off and more so redirected. Here's Mikhailov. Sent across, Jeffrey into the zone, just offside. As they get down to less than 4 minutes. Face-off won by the Riptide. Shot in by Swan. Trying to get that to Mikhailov. It was in his feet and taken away by Offrey as they both go crashing into the boards. Shot back up, Riptide. Moving across the blue line. Stepping in. May have a shot here. And they score! And what a solo effort. I believe that's an 11 I see there. Hudson Jeffrey moving in with a couple dangles and makes no mistake, cutting wide right and flipping it again over that shoulder of Cormier, where we've seen some of these goals go in. A very tough one for goaltenders to get a hold of that. Dornbach unable to clear. Riptide bring it back. Here's Morrison, scores! Or excuse me, that's Ben Mikhailov getting the puck right out in that slot. And quickly after 3-0, the Riptide make it 4-0 with a pass right to Mikhailov, and he makes no mistake to bury it. Just a couple seconds after the first goal, those goals just coming 12 seconds apart. First one from Jeffrey. The second, it's Mikhailov with the assist to Jeffrey. Here's Wigmore trying to get a shot on net. That one's backhanded outside of the slot area. To the blue line it goes. Bell unable to hold it in. Cormier going up against the boards. Potential break, and we got a tripping call coming up. That'll be our first call of the game. Bell's going to touch up and stopping a potential breakaway, but taking a penalty in the process. That'll put the Selects on their second man advantage of the game. And it's William Swan that'll head to the sin bin for the Riptide. Off the faceoff, goes behind the cage. With some time behind the net is Bromley. He takes his time, and it's sent out. Pinching is Nordin trying to put it on net. That one never got there, but did hold the line, and another penalty coming up to the Riptide with a little bit of body contact. Gonna call it interference. So here's a crucial time now, a minute and 43 of 5-on-3 time. That's Mason Knox. That'll be heading through the box here, just initiating contact without possession of the puck. So it's a 5-on-3 now for the East Coast Ice Selects. And it's quickly iced down. Clutch for the Riptide as they try to kill off this lengthy 5-on-3. Rindle on the boards. It'll be met there by McPhee. They rush up with a 3-on-2. McPhee cutting to the middle. 1-on-1 now. McPhee still with possession. What a play. McPhee to the backhand, and it just hits the post. Here's Cormier trying to send it in front. That one's pickpocketed and intercepted, and will be cleared out to the neutral zone by Cam Weeks. King wearing across the blue line. Tried to put it on net, deflected by the stick of Martel. Moved out by the Riptide. This one is just gonna be out of the zone as they now touch up. 48 seconds still left to go on this 5-on-3, a minute and a half. Selects move it in. Unable to get a shot off there was Hickey, but did move it into the corner. Hickey, little flip out in front, and tried to get that over to his teammate, and this one's going to go outside the blue line. Regrouping now is Offrey. Offrey trying to work his way in, was poke checked, and another clear. A great penalty kill so far for this Riptide squad is how they bring it in on 5-on-3. That's Wigmore. That was eventually poke checked by Dornbach. Selects move it back the other way. Across the blue line they go, waiting, dangling to the middle on a backhand, and unable to get a shot off there was Hickey. Select still with it, up to the blue line. Offrey with a shot, deflected. Hickey skating on it with a foot race against Stewart. It's Stewart that's going to win the race, and now a 5-on-4 as Swan is out of the box. Here's Swan pickpocketing his man on a breakaway. Swan out of the box. The shot is just lifted over the net. And what a beautiful play from Swan that just came out of the box. The elite pickpocketing Anthony Offrey and had a breakaway and was just mere inches from sending it off the bar and into the net. Nordin off the bench being chased by McQuillan. Put up against the boards. Into the center. Moving back with it, the Riptide. Regrouping. It'll go off the boards. Out in the center. McQuillan will try to rush it into the zone. And that will end our action-packed second period. We hope to see you back for the third after this quick 2 minutes. 4-0 in favor of the Riptide here on MST. And here we go, third period of action is upon us as the puck's dropped with 12 minutes on the clock. Riptide have been playing a tremendous game so far. Selects a lot of offensive pressure. Here's a shot that's blocked away. Looks like it's now Kian Arsenault, number 31 in between the pipes. Must have made a quick goaltending change a bit earlier in the game. Back for the Riptide. Going back behind his net is Van Weeken. Looking, scanning tons of options. Puck will now be up. Nordine in a foot race. Skating it with him is McQuillan. McQuillan losing his stick now, forcing to play the body. Then sends Nordine down to the ice. Morrison trying to put that to the net. Cleared out. Kept in at the blue line by Stewart. Momentarily now going back with the other way is Dunbrack. Dunbrack skating, that's Hickey rather with the shot just sent wide of the cage. Riptide move it up against the wall. Still up against the wall as it goes all the way down for the selects. It's Nash King. Waiting behind his net. His first pass, fanning on it. Second time successfully gets it over to Bork. It's now a little bit of a race for it with a shot on net, and that one's saved by Willis, I believe, who's now in net. Now Selects going back the other way. There's a shot. That one off the boards from Alec Cormier. Ever so close to getting that one on net. There was Siri trying to do a little loose puck deke up against the boards. Riptide bring it back the other way. Dayrosh up with speed, and he's offside. He has 2 points tonight. He's been on fire for the Riptide. But Hudson Jeffrey leads the way with 2 Genos and an assist so far. As we get less than 10 to go into period 3. Riptide bringing in, trying some dangles to get into the zone. They successfully do. Waiting with it. Mikhailov trying to go to the blue line for Stewart, and that had just slipped under his twig and will now go back to get it. Was tied up by McPhee, but was successfully able to get it in. Here's Mikhailov, has a wide open shot. He's going to try, and that one just misses the net of Brielle Cormier. Moving with it is Dayrosh. Up to the blue line. Stewart, shot from the blue line, redirected, and more of blocked by his own teammate. Now McPhee skates it out, has it on his backhand, moves by O'Keefe. McPhee still with it. His pass backhanded, but blocked by Stewart. Rimmed along the boards on the far side. Kept at the blue line, banked up against the boards with the backhand. It's under Riptide players. They now spring outside the zone. Through center. Mikhailov, what a move to get by his man. Mikhailov all alone. The pad save made by Brielle Cormier again. Coming up strong for the team. Now there's Wigmore. He tried to throw that out in front. Van Weeken. Tried to throw it down against the wall. It was blocked initially by Offrey. Offrey again to the middle, trying to get it out. Bring it back in as Wigmore as he falls down to the ice. Another pass out in front, right between the pads. It's in the net, but the ref whistles it down before. That'll be no goal. A Selects player even diving in desperation to get into the net to save it. Putting the body on the line. It's right in between the pads of Cormier right here. Face-off win. Trying to move it to the middle. Here was Weeks. There's another try off the post. Would have been a snipe to the top bins. And collisions up against the boards. Multiple players down. There's about 3 of them. 2 of the Selects, 1 Riptide player, but Hickey comes out with him for the East Coast Ice Selects. Rimmed along the boards. Van Weeken at the blue line. Pass across, one-timer that just missed wide left of the net. Wigmore behind the net, waits, pass it in front, the shot, they score! Mason Knox this time gets his goal, had a breakaway earlier, and gets a pass perfectly from the back door from Wigmore, who had juked out Cormier out in the net. It's now going to be 5-0 Riptide. That goal scored by Mason Knox, assisted from Wigmore and Stavert at 7:49 of this third and final period. Flipped up, blocked here at center. Move back for Bork. Mishandles it, but luckily teammate back there. And then it goes back to the middle. Here's Bradley. Bradley up with speed, tried to pass that one over across. Still kept in by Hickey. Flipped back out in the center. Moving up with speed. Bromley in, cutting wide. The shot saved by Cormier. I'll jab at it after the whistle. Won't do too much as Cormier covers up. Face off to go back into the select zone. And over at the IGA surface, it's going to be 6-0. The ECI Selects over the Nova Scotia Prospects only in the first period. And here the Selects trying to crawl their way back from a 5-goal deficit. Here at the Uni surface. On Friday morning, there's a shot out in front. They score! There's the first one for them. And it looks like it's Alec Cormier that finds his way to the slot. A little bit of a net front scrum. There's a Selects player that's down on the ground. Multiple players pounce on it, squeaks out over to Alec Cormier, and he makes no mistake to bury it. So Cormier gets the Selects on the board as they try to gain any bit of momentum to crawl their way back into this game. McPhee throwing it to the blue line. Shot back in. It's Mikhailov looking for a rebound. Sharp angle shot deflected to the side of the net. Mikhailov, turnaround. A little bit of a turnaround pass to Dayrosh. Curling back, jukes out about 3 players. Dayrosh to the middle, to the blue line. O'Keefe waits and shoots. Deflected, backdoor, and Dayrosh couldn't quite get a stick on it. Dayrosh cutting to the middle. What a move. Dayrosh passed with it from one-timers to save. A rebound. They score. And it looks like it's Hudson Jeffrey getting his third of the game on the rebound. And what a play that was, not only from Dayraj dangling through a couple men, but Cormier makes a beautiful one-timer save right here. And the rebound's just loose. No defenseman there to pounce on it. And back to a 6-1 game we go. With just 6 minutes left to go into period 3. Little backhand low behind the net from Hickey. Rimmed around the boards, blocked by Doernbach at the line. He turns around, just keeps it in. Another try. And takes a man down with him. It doesn't keep it in. Riptide coming back. Sticks lifted. Multiple players go flying. That was Weeks who had tried to streak in. Dunbrack of the Selects. Moving his way back up. It tried to pass it to the center. That had hit off a body. Doernbach going back for it on the far side near the Riptide bench. It squeezes out back to the center. Shot back in. Riptide try to clear. Here's Hickey. Gonna try a long distance shot. And that one's turned away by Arsenault. Selects bringing it back in. Moving in. Offrey trying to get a shot. Makes a nice move, and that one's covered. And held by Arsenault at 4:49 here of period 3. Draw was to the left of Arsenault at the blue line. Shot back in, rebound. Bradley with a try. That's a passe made by Arsenault. Now it was Bromley trying to get out for the Riptide. Another try, and this one's cleared by Swan. Bromley tried to work his way past the blue line. It's flipped in and over the stick of Bork. Behind the net with speed, King. Waits, tries to pass it, but deflected off his stick and out into center ice. Riptide bring it back in. Pass for Bromley along the left, cutting to the middle. He's bumped by Bradley to the right side. There's a shot from the face-off circle that's saved by the stick of Cormier and ramped up over the net. Collision along the boards. There's Swan with a shot. That one's deflected off his stick. Another try. There's Bell with a try. And that one got to the net just very slowly. There's a shot deflected off his skate. Back again. Skating is McQuillan. Passing it back. Bromley. He shoots. That one's wide left. Rimmed across the boards by King. Held up by Mikhailov. To the blue line. Poked loose. Selects may have a break here going past the blue line. Selects moving in. Potential 2-on-1. Here in on his backhand. Hickey with a drive. And that one's saved by Arsenault. Bradley back on it for the Selects. On his forehand, he'll go around the cage. He's met by McQuillan and Morrison. It's Rindle on the boards, blocked at the line here by Stewart, and the shot never made it through. There's King blowing a tire. Riptide may have a chance of a shot on net. That'll be blocked from Cormier, making it look easy out in that net. Selects off a bouncing puck. It was Hickey trying to throw it out and shot back in by O'Keefe. This one delayed icing, and it will go for icing here. Here's a sharp angle shot that's off the outside of the post, right off the draw from Cormier. Has the only goal for the Select so far and was very, so close to making it 2. Moving back is Mikhailov. of the Riptide, leaving it up, bringing it with speed. Looks like that's Swarm with a shot, saved by Cormier. Rebound, they score. And it's Ben Mikhailov. That's going to get another one for the Riptide. Has one so far, and that's going to be his second. Off a rebound, and had a huge target to shoot at. Making it 7-2-1. Here with just over 2 minutes still left to play. Selects, bringing it back with speed. Nordine trying to move his way in. Was poked on with his backhand. Nordine with some good back checking. Disrupts the play. This one will just go outside the line. Hickey trying to throw it back in. Riptide back with it, less than 2 to go. Skating in. There's a forehand shot that just goes through the crease. There's Knox going to the line for Van Weeken. Selects move their way in. Moved out by the Riptide, the Selects. Out in the middle, it's Hickey. Passing it back down into the end of the Riptide. Just about a minute left to go. There's Knox, a couple Selects players battling right up against the penalty box. Taken back by the Riptide, it's Stewart trying to go across, or for McQuillan. It hovers the blue line, McQuillan now. Right up against the center stanchion, gets bumped. It'll be shot to the opposite side by the Riptide. There's Weeks. I tried to throw it in front. A little pass from Bradley. Over across, stepping in. Here's Maya trying a shot on, and it's off the blocker and wide of the net. Coming down to the last 20 seconds. Riptide move it in. Morrison trying to have a shot on, and he was tied up by the stick of Maya. And that'll be the end of our game. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Your final score, Riptide 7, ECI Selects 1. Stick around for the player of the game, nominations, and our post-game interview with the MVP of the Riptide.
All right. Yeah. Is this good? All right, so Hudson, congratulations on Player of the Game. What do you think you did to earn Player of the Game?
Play hard, work hard.
All right. What do you think your team needs to do to win gold at this tournament?
Pass the puck.
All right.
Play hard.
All right. Well, congratulations on the big win, Hudson.